Alright guys, so you guys have been asking us for a long time to get this modification video up on my wife's pack. We got it done, we got it tested, everything's good, but we can't seem to get any good weather to go outside and film it outside where it looks nice. I mean, it's just killing us. So, you're stuck with us filming it in the kitchen here. You've seen us do our dehydrating videos in this kitchen. We'll just do it here. We'll show you guys what is done, and then my wife has to get to bed to go to work, so after this we'll put it on the table and I will physically show you exactly what was done to it. So let's start off with the one thing that she's really loving at this point, and that's been
the chest strap was moved up. It actually normally was down here and it kind of just definitely did not fit me, so now it's where it needs to be.
I used to call it nipple level because it was way down here. It was actually under this spot here and the spot here where these ring loops were on. It was sewed under it. For people like me, you know, it'd be like right here where it's perfect on a guy, but on a shorter woman with a shorter torso, not so good because it'd be way too low. So that was moved. Now, if you turn it, and for reference, you can always refer back to our original video on this, but she used to have this big arc right here. From where the waist belt would hit here and the load levers pulled all the way taut would pull the pack here and here, and there'd be like an arc. It was good for air, but it always had a problem. When you put the water bottle in, they'd want to fall back. That was a major problem. So as you can see now, she's got this stuff with a huge quilt, but you see how it's right against her back, but there's still room for me to stick my hand. It's not tight. You can also see that we adjusted it and set it so that her strap ties were just below her shoulder, which gives her this perfect triangle here that we can pull her load levelers or let it go based upon her weight. We want to keep this top part of the pack, the more that's in it, straight up. But it's carrying the weight on the torso, it's measured correctly, and into the side. So that's one of the major things. Now, here we had some fraying. Her friend sewed it. She got that fixed up. And then I guess they were talking that if she decides to measure all these straps out, they have a machine to burn and cut them. But you wanted to take a moment and talk about some of the people that helped you.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Sandy and Tim and all the gang at work because they were the ones who actually modded my pack for me. I really appreciate it. I love it, and it's working out great.
So, to go into what we did, I once again have to turn my wife sideways here. The pack has not been cut. We didn't cut anything. So if you want to cut this, you might be able to knock a few ounces off. We're not doing that for this. We want to set it up so you can mod it, and then if you want to cut the stitches out, you can go back, cut them out, resize it, say for a child, a wife, or something else. Now as you can see, you're like, how did they shorten the torso without it? Look right there. You see my finger? Can you see that? That is like, think about the edge of a Christmas package when you fold it. We actually folded the back in on itself and then sewed through. I'll show you that when I get the pack off of her and put it on the table. But if you look at it, it's a perfect drip edge. Nothing's going to leak. It'll drip right off of it. Same with the other side. It's a perfect drip edge. Here, it's nothing. All right, towards the back, so it doesn't change the gear amount it can hold. I mean, this thing's huge anyways. We all know that thing can be piled way up here to be fully filled. So you're not losing any gear space, but it's got this perfect drip edge from the fold and goes to nothing here. So I don't know if you guys can really even see that, but I'll show you better when I get it off of her and lay it out on the table to show you. But the big thing is, are you happy? Because you're the one that's got to hike with it.
I'm very happy with it.
Very
happy.
So
yeah.
From the aspect of money, people buy this pack and they're like, it doesn't fit my torso or it doesn't fit quite right. This is easy. You can hand sew this.
Yes.
You could do it with rivets. You could do it with glue and then just a little bit of stitching to cut down how much stitching you need to do. You could actually glue the fabric, and then there's so many ways.
The thing I really like about it, though, is if I decide to get a new pack, which I don't expect to, but if I did, because we pass a lot of our packs down to our kids, then we can just take this simple stitching out and it's full size again. Nothing's been cut. It's back to where one of the boys who's as tall as Tony, or the longer torsos, can still use the pack.
Yeah, you're not basically making it unusable anymore.
Because I'm the only short one in the family.
And a little stitch puller, you can go buy them for like $3 and yank all these stitches right out in like 10 minutes and put the pack right back the way it was. Now, the girls at work, they go the extra mile in everything they do. That's their job. So they put a little more stitching in than you really have to, but you got to understand the people we're dealing with here. These are quality-minded individuals that do a serious, legit street seamstresses for a living. And they take pride in their job. They work with very heavy materials. So when they did this, they didn't just like do a little bit. But
Tim too.
And Tim too. But they did it in small amounts in one part to show you, but then they sewed a whole nother part that you don't even actually have to sew. But they chose to take it the extra mile. So when we come back here, I'll be on the table here. We'll have it all laid out, and we'll show you guys exactly what they did. So once again, thanks to the team for taking care of sewing that up. We do appreciate that, and we owe you one. And I think that you should take them some soap or something.
I'm going to.
Okay. So I'll get back with you guys here in a few minutes. We'll go over the details of this, and we'll show you how to do it. All right, guys. I took you off the tripod because I'm having a hard time getting the lighting to show this right. But there is the crease I talked about. It goes from nothing at the front of the pack to here. Now, what we did was we went at this line, we came down about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, then folded the same amount up underneath. Alright? So when you're stitching, you're basically taking the back of the pack, coming down here about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. See where the tie-ins are? Here's your line. Come down from there about 1.5 inches. And then we flipped 1.5 inches up under here. Alright? And then you can see just section stitching. Obviously you don't need that much, that's overload. But then, to make it even better, they stitched it all the way across this top. And that just made that little seam inside not flap, if that makes sense. So we've got stitching all the way through here that goes all the way inside, and then these stitches right through here, which actually hold the flap down. Now this measurement is based upon how much you need to take off. So you need to put it on, and then there's a million videos on YouTube about how to measure your torso. The best thing I can say is you need to put your belt on and then find out what you need from their belt up to your strap. Your strap should be at like 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch up to 1 inch below the top of your shoulder. That way your load levelers work. It's a pretty simple setup though. Here it's undone, so here we can show you. Alright, so basically, flip it up. You see that? It is literally just folded up underneath on itself and sewed in across here. That's all you guys have to do. You could literally just sew like 1 inch here, 1 inch here, 1 inch here, and 1 inch here, and be done. You could glue it if you wanted to, be sure. Now I will spray all this with silicone seam sealer. The kind you get at Walmart for about $7 a can. You see us do our tents with them. You don't necessarily need to do this, but it wouldn't hurt. Because then you won't have the flap on the inside. Everything will be nice and smooth and it'll stay tight. Now, we were talking, and my wife doesn't use this, which holds the sit pad if you want a pad. So she's talking about getting rid of this and getting rid of the top part that holds it, which is this. So, and some other strapping. So we'll have another mod video probably in a few months. We're not going to bother the ladies this soon. But while we're at it, I wanted to show you, this is where it's fraying. but they went above it and put a line of stitching in, as you can see. If this starts to fray up past that, which I doubt, we will actually just make a piece of cap material and then sew it through and be done with this. Because it's just a piece of string here, a piece of string there. I don't think with as high as they went, it'll fray up that high. But you can even see how clean that side looks. Let me unsnap it and make some room. So here's where it's folded over in the under, okay? This is your drip edge. You can see my finger how it goes to nothing there. So when you're looking at the side of the pack, get these straps out of the way here so you guys can see it. You can see where it goes to nothing, to something. But it doesn't affect the overall pack. If anything, it gives it that little bit of arch that makes it nice. It's a pretty simple mod, guys. It really is. Now, the chest sternum strap. Let me explain how they did this. So here's your D-ring holder, and this is usually down here. And then you see they've sewn this loop on. Well, what they did on this one, this one, they just pulled the stitching out of that right there, that center part, slid this from down here up there, and then put some stitches back in it. That's it, guys. That's nothing. And when it's up here, it sits way better on your chest. Now on the other side, same thing right there in that loop that holds this. Pop those stitches out. Just take a stitch ripper. You can buy them for like $2 or $3 at any Joann's Crafts, Walmart, any place sells sewing stuff. And then took this that was down here and just slid it up and then restitched it. With this, I think you could get away with just, see, they really stitched it. They put the machine to it. But with this, you could just get across with a couple stitches and then cross stitch it and then wrap it under itself and be done. Whip stitch it, whatever you want. But that's how the sternum was redone. And I think when you look at this, these mods are not hard, guys. I mean, don't get overwhelmed with sewing. Put some stitches through it with the good quality thread. If you're really, really worried about it, buy some of that real tiny spider wire that you use for fishing and some good needles. And just push the needle through with that stuff. Tie it off real good at the end. Clip the excess or burn the excess off and be done. I mean, this stuff's not hard, guys. We could have easily done this at home, but them girls at her work do an awesome job. And I'm not complaining. We're really happy. It really came out nice. And from the side view, that isn't going to bother anything. And we didn't cut the pack. That's the thing. So it's still as water resistant as it was. And obviously I'll give it another coat of silicone spray. But that is the easiest mod. And it fits her so nice. I can't wait to see her really bogged down with about 22 pounds, water and all. And hammering the trail with this thing now. Because it's going to ride so much higher and so much better. So just one of those things. We wanted to show you all the mods that we did to it. I mean, look, $55 you can get these things for now from AliExpress. Why not just get this? If it doesn't fit you right, that's okay. You now know how to mod it to make it fit you. Take your measurements, get it set to your body type, and you will absolutely love this pack. So I'm Tony with Our World Outdoors, and I'll see you in the next one.